Hakadosh Boker Or Daf Yomi Masechet Batra Daf Daled Amud Aleph 74a1. We are talking about right now. You remember the different stories that we said that we had to go through with the Gaon Mivilna, right, and all the other pshatim which are going to be in the bottom of the page, right? We Bezat Hashem will do this. Now in the 12th story we said, right, as follows: Amarli, right? There was this. Rabbi Barchana comes and is telling us all these stories, and he said that there was a Socher Ishmaeli that came and he said, "Tach velach metem midbar." I'm going to show you the metem midbar, the ones that they died in the desert through the 40 years during Moshe Rabbeinu. As liachazetinu, so we went and we saw them. The damu keman demibasme. So it was mamash. It looked like they were shikorim of wine. It looked like they were jolly of wine. I mean, mamash, their flesh, everything. It looked like they were, 100% tari, 100%, the fresh. The ganua parkid. Now they were lying down on their backs, meaning that they're facing towards Hakadosh Baruch Hu, which that's how we do it as well, by the way, right? And that's, by the way, where the halacha learns it from. Halacha learns from this Gemara that how do we know that we put the niftar on the back, always facing upwards, from this Gemara? Meaning the Shulchan Aruch, right? They quote this halacha by this Gemara to teach you the halacha. V'hava zekifa birkei dechad minayu, right? And then it says like this: the berech of one of them, right, was upwards. Okay, the berech is like the birkaim or the knees. The ayil taya tute birke. So the Ishmaeli, it was like upwards. So therefore, the taya was able to go under it, right? That's what it says here. The Ishmaeli was able to go under the berech. Kirachiv gamla, and when he was going on a gamal, on a camel, uskifa rumche, and he had his romach, right? He had a spear in his hand. Lo nagabe. He still didn't touch him. Meaning that, again, we're talking about something incredible, right? You have a person that's lying down, right? And his knee is like this, right? In an angle. Right? In an angle, right? Like a hat. Yeah? Now, what happens is he was able to go on a camel, right? We're not talking about a horse or a donkey. On a camel, right? You know what a camel is. Yeah, much taller. Yeah? And he's got the romach in his hand. He's got the spear in his hand upwards, right? Not downwards, upwards. And he goes through, and it's still not even touching.
The knee?
Yes, the knee. No, obviously.
Stories, so I didn't do yesterday.
Yeah, obviously, right? So he comes and he says now like this. I went and I cut off a corner of the talit of one of them in order to bring it to the chachamim. Right? And he says, we weren't able to. We weren't able to continue. Yeah? Basically, we weren't able to move. Okay? Right? Then he says, right? Amali, so he told me, so all of a sudden, the Ishmaeli comes and he tells us, did you guys take anything? Did you guys take anything from these niftarim? Ahadre. Put it back. Tigmire, because we have a masoret. Teman de shakil mide minayu lo mistagele. We have a masorah that if you try to take something, we can't move on. This is Ishmaeli talking. And he's telling you, I have a masorah, I have a tradition. If any person comes and he takes whatever it is from one of these metem midbar, you cannot move forward. We have to stay here. So what happened? I went and I put it back. And then we were able to go. When we went in front of Rabbanan, and I told them the story, Amrule, they told me, Kol Abba Chamra, right? Every Abba, his name was Rabbi Barachana, but his real name was Rav Abba. So the Rav Abba, they just a Rabba. So they made a short nickname for him. Instead of Rav Abba, they called him Rava, right? A Rabba. So he says here, every Abba is a tipesh. Why? Like a chamor. The whole Bar Barchana, right? Sichsa. And any bar barchana is also a fool. Why? Why did you come and do that? Meaning, why did you cut off the kanaf of their tzitzit? Why did you cut off the corner of the tzitzit? Lemeida, to know, ike bet shamai, right? Or ike bet hilel. We wanted to find out, was halacha like bet shamai, that they put all the 4 chutim in the hole, right? In the whole kanaf. Or like bet hilel, that we only put 3, right? In every single kanaf. Right, this is a machloket. How many chutim do they put in every single knaf of the beged? But Shammai comes and he says 4, right? And therefore it's going to be 8. And according to Bet Hillel, it's going to be 3, and therefore it's going to become 6. Okay, this halacha, by the way, we pass like Bet Shammai. That's what we do actually 8. That means we're going like Bet Shammai, right? But this is one of the places where we pass like Bet Shammai keneged, right? Bet Hillel, which is that's not the norm. But he wanted to see how do we pass it. So he wanted to cut off the kanaf in order to show how do we pass it, like Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel. No, Rabbi Barachana. Rabbi Barachana, remember, the Ishmaeli showed him in this, so he went and he cut it in order to come and to show it to the rabbis. He had to put it back. So he says, right? He says, why do you have to cut it off? All you have to do is count. He says, you're a fool. Just count. Meaning like this, David, if I wanna know, right, how are you doing right now in your tzitzit over there that you have there, your talit, right? That you're meutar b'talit, you're saying selichot again, you're doing all these things again. Yeah. So what do I have to do? Yeah. All I have to do is count. I don't have to cut off the kanaf. Why do I have to cut off the kanaf? So they were saying, you're a fool. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. So Amarli, 13th story. Yeah. Number 13. Okay. Baba Haki, we have a few more stories here. Yeah. So he says the 13th story. Amarli, if he tells me, yeah, Ta'ach v'lechar Sinai. I'm going to show you our Sinai.
But we need the whole story. This is just
this
parts.
is just a teaser. This is just to start.
We need the whole story, at least 1 or 2.
Yeah, for sure. So Azli Chazai, so he comes and he says, the Hadran le akrabe. So I went and I saw that there were akrabim, right, all over, right, the Har Sinai.
God's army.
Yes, yeah, the scorpions, right? V'kaime, right, ki chamre chivarte. So what happened is that they were like chamorim levanim, that they were there, right? Ve'shamat batkol. So I come and I hear that there's going to be a batkol, right? That what? Sheomeret oili shenishbati. I woe to me that I went and I swore to put my nation, right, in exile. Ve'achshav shenishbati. And now that I swore, Nimefeli, who's going to do the afarat nedarim? Yeah, now that I swore, who's going to do afarat nedarim? So kiatay lekameh de Rabbanan. So when Rabbi Chana came in front of Rabbanan, I told her this. Amruli, kol Abba, Hamra. You're Hamor. Yeah, this is Abba, remember, which is Rabba, right? Rabbi Abba, so it's Rabba. Kol Bar Chana, Sichsa, also, the fool. Why? Hayal Lechalomar, Mufalach. He should have done it. Everyone understood? He should have done Afarat Nedarim. Okay? Fine. Right? Vehu Savar, Ain Daled Amud Aleph. Vehu Savar, Dilma Shevuata de Mabulhu. But he went and he thought that it was a Shavua of the Mabul. And therefore, since it was the Shavua of the Mabul, right, he went and he said the Kavanah of the Batkol was a Shavua that he wasn't going to bring the Mabul again. So why in the world is he going to come and he's going to, right, make Farat Nedarim? Rabbanan, so the rabbis held in Ken Oy Lamalek. So then 1 second, if it was the Shavua of the Mabul, so why did he say oily? Oily is woe to me. Woe to me is on something bad. On something, meaning not to bring him a bull, he's not going to come and want to do a faran. Why woe to me? So therefore, he should have done it. Okay? Makes sense or not? Everyone's with me? Fine. So now he comes and he says like this, right? He says, you know what, Tori? The 14th story. 14th story, Amali, again, this Ishmaeli, this Arab merchant comes and he tells me, Tach velecha belue de Korach. I'm going to show you the ones which were swallowed, right, by Korach, the story of Korach. So, Chazai trebize, we saw 2 holes in the ground. Vavakamapke kutra, and there was ashan, there was like a smoke that was coming out of it. So, Shakal gevavad di imna. So he basically came and he took he took like wool, v'amshine b'maya, he soaked it in water, v'datzta, right, berosha deromcha, he put it, right, at the top of his spear, v'ailir lahatam, and he put it into one of the holes. V'chiapik, and when he took it out, he made a barbecue. Instead of using marshmallows, he used some wool, right? And he took it out, and it was completely scorched. It was completely burnt. Okay? Amali said, atzet my shamat. Come listen to what they're saying. Ushmait davu amnin, and I heard that they were saying, Moshe emet v'torato, yeah, Moshe v'torato emet behen badaim. Moshe and his Torah are emet, but they're liars, right? That's what they're saying it on themselves, obviously, right? So that means they were saying Moshe v'torato emet was Korach v'adato, right? And that's also the Targum Yonatan ben Oziel, the same thing. Okay, the Mizrahi wants to bring a different thing, that they were going to be judged in Geinam every single 30 days, right? But these are the Bnei Korach. So they said that Shalom metu. So okay, there's different nuschaot. Oh, that's what we're saying. So there's different nuschaot. There's a whole thing here. Okay, the Amri, right? Sorry, and the Amali. So he told me, Kol tlatin yome ma'adal leGeinam lacha. Every single 30 days, right? The Geinam is going to come and bring them here, right? So, right, this is every single 30 days. And he says here, right, he says, yeah, this is Rosh Chodesh. Yeah, whenever you say that, it's Rosh Chodesh. B'derech kla, right? Kebasar bekalachat, just like a dude, right? That they come and they start changing it on its side. So every 30 days it comes back. And they say, so they say this exact same thing. Okay? Fine. 15th story. Next story time. Amarli, the Ishmaeli comes and he tells me, I'm going to show you where did the Shamayim and the Aretz, where did they touch each other when they were connected? Azli v'chazai de avid kave kave. So I went and I saw that the rakia was made like different windows, right? So he says over here, shakalt lisiltai. So I took a basket of bread, v'itznachta bekavata de rakia, and I placed it in the window of the firmament. Adematzilna, right? When I prayed, I looked for it and I couldn't find it. So imagine I had a basket of bread, I put it in the window, whatever this means, obviously, right? I put it in the window, and I prayed. I come back, disappeared. Thin air. Yeah? Aminale. So I told the Ishmael, he says, what, there's ganavim here? What happened? I put the bread there in the window and it disappeared. Amali told me, Hai galgala derekia udeadar. It's the galgala rakia that turns around. So therefore, it changed. Meaning you put it in a window and it's like the merry-go-round, right? It's not the merry-go-round, the wheel. But no, but there's a better word for it. I know, but in English. Okay, the Ferris wheel, right? Ferris wheel. What does that mean? It's going around like this. So therefore, you put it up here and it's going around. So it took it with it. What do you want? So he says, right, netar ad machar. Right, wait until tomorrow, and then you're going to find it here. Right? What does that mean? At the same time, tomorrow it's going to come down. So don't worry about it. You'll find it again. Yeah? Fine. 16th story. Rabbi Yochanan, right? Now all of a sudden, though, we change because now we're in Rabbi Yochanan.
All about the story.
All of them have the stories, Richard. All the art scrolls have the stories. All of them. Each story has, right? Each one. No. Each story has it. Each one has it. I said afterwards. I said no. Yeah? Rabbi Yochanan, right? So Rabbi Yochanan comes and he was Mishtay. So he went and he said the following story. So until now, if you realize, all of them was Rabbi Baruchana, correct? Continue this Rabbi Baruchana, Sipura Siri, Sipura Shvi, Chamishi. Everything here was Rabbi Bar Baruchana. Let me just see here. Yes, also Rabbi Baruchana was the third one, the second one, right? All of them was, right, Rabbi Baruchana. The first one was actually Amar Rabba, right? But again, according to what we said, that's also Rabbi Baruchana. Okay, so therefore, these are all the stories. Okay, fine. So now we're going to the 16th story. Now we're changing, right? The protagonists, right? We're changing the character. Who now it's Rabbi Yochanan. So Rabbi Yochanan Mishtai, he once said the following story. Zimna bisfinta. Once I was going on a boat. And I saw a fish that he took out his head from the water. And his two eyes were like two moons. Yeah. Again, what does that mean? Literally, I don't know if it's the size of the moon, if it's I don't know what, but it was like two moons. Right, and the water was coming through his two nostrils. Like two rivers of surah. Something we're talking about something huge. Right? This is a huge. So that means even nowadays, if you're going to start telling me, listen, that you found some weird creature and I don't know what, listen, it could be if you would take it literally, it's already brought down. And I said we don't know. But again, obviously, there's the stories behind it. We have to see. The 17th story, Rav Safra, changing again another person now. Before was Rabbi Barachana, the first 15. 16th was Rabbi Yochanan, now Rav Safra. Rav Safra Mishtaya, so Rav Safra is telling another story. Once I was going in a boat, and I saw a fish that took out his head of the water, and it had horns. Yeah, it had horns. So imagine, not a unicorn, horns, a fish that had horns. Now, what happened was it's engraved in the horns. Anna biriya kalasha bayam. I am one of the small creatures of the sea. Vavina tlat parsa, right? And I'm in the mirchak of 300 parsaot, right? Meaning, vazina lepuma de Livyatan, and I'm going right now to the mouth of the Livyatan in order that he should eat me. Okay, remember that the Livyatan was created on the 5th day of creation, and Lati Lavo, the tzaddikim are going to eat from it in Olam Haba. So he says, so he's going to the Livyatan. So imagine how big he is, and imagine how big the Livyatan is. Yeah, Ravashi says, Hahu Iza the Yama. It's the Ezayam, meaning just like the goat, right, is the animal that has the horns, right, the goats, right, and all these things. So too, that's called the Ezayam. Okay, the Vchishavit la Karne, that digs in the ground, and it actually has karnaim. It's got how do you call this? It's got right, the horns, right, to look for its food. Okay, so this was the 17th story. 18th story.
Well worth reading.
I told you, but is that the show we're going to afterwards? Story. Okay, 18th story. Rabbi Yochanan Mishtai. So Rabbi Yochanan comes and he's going to say now another story. Zimna chada v'kazlinan right besfinta. Once I was going on the sfina, v'chazina na'i kartilta. So I saw a chest, or you want to call it a chest, okay, right? I saw an argaz. Argaz is lav davka, but it's like a chest. The avuka mikabayeba, right? That it had avanim torvot v'geliot. No, so then bemet it is a chest. Yeah, so it had beautiful stones and everything. V'hadru lamine de kavre de mikre karsha. So he says, and it was full of fish, right, which were surrounding it, which were called karsha. Now, karsha usually, right, okay, so like the sharks, but let's see. Nachit, right, 74b. Nachit bar amorai lute, right, so they wanted to bring it up. The ragash, so, you know, one of the fish, he wanted to come and he wanted to take off his yerech. He wanted to take him out. Yeah, he wanted to kill him. The shada zika dechala, right? So he went and he threw, right, full of chometz, of vinegar, v'nachat, right, and because of the bad smell, it went away. So nafak batkala amalan, right, might lechu badi kartilta dedvitu to Rabbi Chanina Mendoza, because it says, what do you want? What do you guys want with this? This argaz belongs to the wife of Rabbi Chanina Mendoza. That in the future she's going to put the tchelet for the tzaddikim in, right, the ulam
the leg of the table.
Yes, this is Rabbi Chanina Mendoza's wife. Okay, 19th story. Okay, Rabbi Yehuda Indua. Rabbi Yehuda, right, Indua, right, it's from the land of Kush, Ethiopia, right, that's Kush. Yeah, so he says, right, Mishtai. So what happens is that he's going to say the following story now. We went to the 19th story, which is Rabbi Yehuda Indua. Zimna chada v'azina besfinta. One time we're going on the boat, and we saw a beautiful stone in the sea, Tavahadir la tanina, which there was a nachash. So imagine, it's like percent. So these are all the, you know, the adventures you have to come, and there's always, you know, guarding the jewels or guarding the diamonds. There's always going to be some type of a creature or whatever it is. Here you have them, yeah? So it says here, so there was a tzolelan. Remember what tzolelan is? One of these scuba divers. Yeah, he's going down to try to get it. The ata, yeah, what happens is, ata tanina, right? And he felt it. So ka mivla la sfinta. So he comes and he says, right, and he wanted to get, right, the nachash came and he wanted to take the boat. Ata pashkinsu, right, pashkansa paskel reshe. So what happened was, he cut off its head. The nekeva of the orev, the female of the raven, came and cut off its head of this
sea monster.
Sea monster, whatever you want to call it exactly. So he says, "Yitapachu maya vavadama." So the entire water became blood because of so much blood. Atatarina chavre. So another nachash came, right? Chavero of the first one. Shakle v'talya levechaya. He put the stone on top of him, and he revived him.
Put a what?
The stone. This Evan, right? Came. He revived him. Yeah. So now the Nachash Rishon again wanted to swallow up, right, the boat. So Hadarata Tzipara Pescalareshe came a tzipor and cut off its head. Shaklua la'iev entava v'shadya l'sfinta. So then he went and he threw it on top of the sfina, right? Hava hane tzipara miliche badan. Right? There were different birds, right? That basically they went and they were salted. They were going to eat them. Otvino alayu, they put them on them, and the stone. And what happened? And they revived. Because again, this is the stone, right, which for the Tchiyat HaMetim. Shaklua parchu levada. So then they went and they took the stone and they flew away with it. So therefore, they were the ones that came and they took the stone away from them. Okay, fine. So now go look for it again, the stone.
How do you like those stories?
Yeah, I think it's wonderful. I didn't do
mentioning
this is tomorrow. I didn't do today, which is starts the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
20th story. 20th story. Tanu Rabbanan, the 20th story. Maaseh Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Yoshua Shayu Bayin Besfina. There was a story with Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Yoshua that they were coming on the boat. Rabbi Eliezer Yashen. Rabbi Yoshua Neor. So Rabbi Eliezer is sleeping. Rabbi Yoshua was awake. He's Dazar Rabbi Yoshua. Rabbi Yoshua all of a sudden he got afraid. Veninar. So he woke up. Rabbi Eliezer. Amarlo, he told him, Mazi Yoshua, what were you nizdazata? Lamata mizdazea. Amarlo, he told him, Maor gadol reiti bayam. I went and I saw a huge light. Okay, here it says it's like the Maor gadol was basically the head of the gal, which is matviya sfinot, which is basically it's like the head of it. It looks like a fire. You remember we already learned this already. Meaning the head of the wave. It looks like so. I saw this. So he was all afraid because all of a sudden they could come and they could topple down the boat. So what happens? So Amalo, he says, Maor gadol raiti bayam. Amalo, he says, Shema enav shel Leviatan raita. Maybe you saw the eyes of the Leviatan. Tichtiv enav kafafei shachat. As it says in the pasuk, his eyes are like, right, dafafei shachat, right, like the morning. So he comes and he says, right, he doesn't actually say anything. Okay. Next. Obviously, that's why he was mizdazeh. But fine. Now he comes and he says like this. Amar Ravashi comes and he says, there's a 21st story. Yeah, 21. Amali Huna bar Natan, says Huna bar Natan, Simna Chada v'Kazliram b'Madbara, we were once going on the desert, ve'have amte atma te Basra badan, and we had a yerech of basar.
Shank meat.
Right, shank meat. This is coming from the, right, exactly, from the shank, from the thigh. Petachna v'nakrina. So we opened it, and we took out the chelev and the gidan nasheh, because that's where the gidan nasheh comes from, right, the behind, the right, vanachna, right, eispe, and we placed it on asabim in order to come and to roast it. So we put it on the grass. Until we brought the bones, right? Not the bones, the wood, right? What happened is that it became complete. Utvinan. So we went and we roasted it. When we came back after 12 months, we saw that the gechalim, right, they were still hot. So we came in front of the Emmaleh. He said, that esev, right, actually comes, and which actually healed the bone, is an esev called sematre, right, which basically it's a healing powers. So therefore, these herbs actually come and they heal. So you come and you took out the gidan nasheh, and now you're coming to roast it. Also, it comes complete. Why? Because it has the healing powers. So hanau gumre and those types. Now, how could it be also though? Fine, you explained what happened with the thigh. But how do you explain what happened with the coals? The coals were 1 year later, it was still hot. So he says, Dirit mahabim. Those are gechalim tamim, right? Which basically they don't turn off. And by the way, those are the coals, right? We always mention it, the concept of that kola medaber be'emtza limudo. Anybody that speaks in the middle of his limud, right? Machalim oto gechaler retamim. They give him gechalim, and not regular coals. Coals which are the tamim. This coals, right? Huh? Yes, right, which means right, the gechalei retamim, much powerful coals. Okay, fine. So now that we just spoke about the Leviathan, now we're going to come and we're going to mention, right? We mentioned about the Leviathan. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the Taninim HaGedolim. Hacha, over here, Targimu, meaning in Bavel, they had the Targum. What is Taninim? Arzile de Yama. Re'emim of the Yam. Remember, these are the ones like the Izim of the Yam, right? Of the goats. Right, exactly. The goats of the sea. Yeah? The Tamim, yeah? Rabbi Yochanan Amar. Rabbi Yochanan comes and he says, Ze Leviathan Nachash Bariach. This is the Leviathan Nachash Bariach, Leviathan Nachash HaKalton. Right? I guess basically there's going to be two different types of Nachashim. Shneimar says the Pasuk, Bayom Ahu Yifkod Hashem Becharbo HaKasha והגדולה והחזקה. הלוויתן נחש, right? בריח, הלוויתן נחש הקלטון, והרג את התנין, right? אשר בים. And he's going to kill the tanin in the yam. Fine. Fine, next. Now he comes and he says like this. This is a siman kol shayarden. Okay. He says like this. So he's going to kill the tanin. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav. Says Rav Yehuda Amar Rav. Kol masher HaKadosh Baruch Hu bara ba'olamo. Anything that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created in the world, Zacharun keva bera'am. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created them, Zachar and Venekeva, a male and a female. Leviathan Nachash Beriach, Leviathan Nachash HaKalton, Zachar. Even the Leviathan Nachash Beriach and the Leviathan Nachash HaKalton, he also created them, right? Zachar and Venekeva. But if they would actually come together and have children, huh?
The world, yeah.
Let's 1 second. Elmaleh is a kigin zelazeh, and if it wasn't for the fact that they would come together, meaning they would live together, machrivin et kol haolam kulo, they would destroy the entire world. Mas HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what did HaKadosh Baruch Hu do? Sires et zachar. First of all, he castricized the male. Castrated, sorry. Right, the male. Okay, that's the first one. That's the first thing that he did. And with number 2, haraget nekeva, he killed the female. Right, umlacha, and he salted it. Right, la tzadikim, latilavo, for the tzadikim in the future. Okay, fine. Right here he comes. Shtema, 1 second, because it says in pasuk, "V'araget tanim," right? Asher bayam. Here it says that the milah veharag is really be'emet hu yarog ota. Mordechai, עניתי לך. הוא יהרוג אותה. לא שהוא הרג אותה. יהרוג אותה. בגלל כתוב והרג. והרג זה עם וו ההיפוך. וו ההיפוך זה בעתיד לבוא הוא יהרוג אותה. Yeah. Until לעתיד לבוא.
הרב, מה שאומר פה בעצם? תסביר לי רגע. הוא מה בא? אני לא יודע מה אומר. מה בא לה להחיותה באיזה אומה?
מה? No, right now she's alive. And in the future only he's going to. So since only in the future he's going to come and he's going to say, so then that's fine. No. איפה אתה? זה לא? לא, בכלל לא. זה הרבה יותר מקדימה. Yeah? He comes and he says like this. Right? Rav comes and he says like this. ואף בהמות בערדי א'. What does it mean now you got the בהמות בערדי א'? זכר ונקבה ברעם. Right? Also the same thing. Zachar unkeva, he made them. Also, if they would come together, right? These be'emot v'arei aleph. I don't know how you say it in English, Richard. Right? Be'emot v'arei aleph. But he comes and he says, also, it's good if they would come together. Also, they would destroy the entire world. So, what did HaKadosh Baruch Hu come and he says? He says, right, the same thing. Here he says it could be a hippopotamus or a buffalo. I don't know, but yeah. But obviously it wasn't, it's not the exact same everything. Right?
Gigantic animal.
Okay, yeah, it's a gigantic animal because we don't know what it is. Right? Seras hazachar v'tzinena nekeva. He first of all castrated the male and he cooled the female. That's the concept of taking a cold shower.
Made it unemotional.
100%. Taking a cold shower. Where do you think it comes from?
Right. That's pretty good, Rabbi.
Well, you see, there you go. Yeah. 100%.
I don't see how you came from your father, who's such a soft-spoken individual, and you were just screaming this morning with so much fire and energy. How did that happen? How did that happen?
Yeah, he comes and he says, right? He says he left them over Latil Lavo for the tzaddikim Latil Lavo. Shneimar b'zetz pasuk hinena koach b'motnav kocho b'motnav. Right? What does it mean koach b'motnav? Ze zachar. What does that mean? right? That again, that his koach is shamur betocho, right? Because he was never matil zera, right? It's based upon a pasuk again. The pasuk says, "Hinena beemot asher asiti ma chatzir kabakar yochel inem koch bemotrav ve'ono bishrive bitno is the nekeva shemeolam lo nolad la vlad mi bitna," meaning she never had a child. So again, the same thing. He did both. He castrated the male, plus he cooled down the female. Okay?
No.
Huh? Yeah, that's why I said taking a cold shower.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Richard, you're in sporting line, you know.
Right? He comes and he says, also there, right? Also there, he says, one second. Explain to me something. In the first one, right, he came and he castrated the male, Chazak Baruch, and he's going to kill the female. He didn't actually kill the female now, but he didn't do anything else. In the second one, he castrated the male and he cooled down the nekeva. Why didn't he do the same thing then? Right? Meaning, why is it that he has to kill the female in the future? Cool her down. Right? And once she's cooled down, she doesn't want anything from him. And that's it. Dagim pritze. He says dagim or pritzim. The prutzim.
Unrestrained.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's why even if you're going to come and you're going to cool down the female, right? She'll still become aroused.
I haven't experienced that.
Now, Richard, now you wish to be a fish, don't you?
Yeah.
Richard,
yeah, he says,
Richard, you wish to be a fish, don't you?
yeah,
Richard,
you come and he says,
Well known that the
that's the Gemara. Why don't you do the opposite? Yeah, I don't understand. He says, right, why don't we do the opposite? Cool down the male. Cool down the male, and then castrate the woman, make her sterile, right? But just cool down the male. That's the easiest part about it. If you cool down the male, gamarnu. So if you want, you could say nekiva melicha male. The basar maluach of a nekiva is much better. Meaning that why didn't he just take the male instead of the female? The flesh of the female is much better. Meaning to eat the female fish is much better than the male fish. Yeah. And he comes and he says, right? Yeah, and he says, right? You can answer me. Since it says it's not normal to come and to start playing with a female fish. So when it says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to play around with the fish, right? This is in the Perek of Tilim of the Barachin of Shia of Rosh Chodesh. But we come and we say Livyatan ze yatzata lesachek bo kulam elecha yisabelun. So when it says that, what Hashem is going to play with a female fish, zelo matim. It's not appropriate. So because of that, obviously he's going to kill the female and then he's playing around with the male. So says the Gemara, says the Gemara, the exact same opposite. Why doesn't HaKadosh Baruch Hu just kill the female, right, of the animal as well? Just like he did to the nekeva. He cooled down the female animal, but why didn't he actually kill it? So kavra melicha me'ale bisa melicha, he says no. When you have a fish that is salted, is good, but a female. But to do it bisa melicha, lo me'ale. Basar from a be'ema melucha is not that good. Meaning the dog, yes, when you salt it, and that's why the sardines and all these things, that's yes. Exactly. There's, all these things. That yes, but not, right, not from the meat. Okay? Okay, there's the whole thing here, but fine. Okay, next. Right? The Amar of Yudam Rav says of you the name of Rav. The Shash because HaKadosh Baruch Hu levarot the olam, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu meant to create the world, Amar lo, he said to the Sar Shel Yam, Petach picha uvla kol memot shebaolam. Oh, right, open up your mouth and take all the waters in the world in order that now it's going to be a basha. Because remember, there was waters covering the entire world. Now you need continents, you need land. So how do you do that? He went and he told the Sar Shel Yam, open up your mouth and swallow the waters. He comes and he says, Dai she'emod b'sheli. Says, it's enough if I'm going to be matzliach to come and to be bolea, right? The mea yam sheli. He says, miyad ba'at bo varago. HaKadosh Baruch Hu came and he killed, right, the sarosh shel yam.
Wow.
It's an interesting Gemara, no?
Patron angel of the sea.
The malach is always swallowing the water, right? That they shouldn't go over its place. Because it says, Kol hanechalim olchim el hayam v'hayam enenu maleh. Exactly. Right? The Rashbam brings it down. Yeah? So therefore, since the Gemara says that, so therefore, obviously, what's happening is that he's saying, I'm already swallowing. I can't swallow everything. What's going on? He killed him, right? שנאמר בכוחו רגע היה ובתבונתו מחץ רהב. מה רבי יצחק, שמע מינה, we learn from here, שרו של ים, what's the שרו של ים, what's his name? רהב. Okay, fine, that's the name. Next, אלמלא מים מכסין אותו, it wasn't for the fact that the water is going to cover it, אין כל בריאה יכולה לעמוד בריחו. Nobody could come, right? That means if it wasn't for the fact that the water, right, the water is covering the saros shel yam, nobody would be able to, because of the reach of the nevilah. Okay? שנאמר בזה פסוק לא יראו, לא יראו ולא ישחיתו בכל על קודשי. right? כי מלא ארץ דעת השם כמים לים מכסים. אל תקרא לים מכסים, אלא לסרה של ים מכסים. It's not covering the yam. It's covering the saros shel yam, the sarah shel yam, which is basically this rahav, right, that they come, and if it wasn't covered, it would be a big problem for us.
I think they're commenting on remarkable. It's remarkable that the sea just stops. It's sand. Why doesn't it just keep going?
That was yesterday's daf.
Well, I didn't do yesterday.
Yeah, it was incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah? Fine. Ve'amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav, the third memra of Rav. Rav Yehuda comes and he says the name of Rav. Yarden Yotze mi me'arat Pamias. You know that the Jordan River, the Yarden, it comes out from the cave of Pamias. Nowadays it's called Banyas. It's a kfar, it's a village in the north of Israel. Banyas. You have the Banyas. So from the Banyas comes the Yarden. He says here, Bedarom Midron Har Hermon. It's in the south of Har Hermon. It says here, he's Nivne Mime Kedem Alide Philippos, the son of Hurdus. שקרא למקום קיסריה פיליפי. הירדן יוצא כנחל הגדול ממערה. So it comes out of a big, it comes out like a stream coming out of a cave. Okay? Fine. This is a banyas. Okay? Here you have the picture. You see the picture? In the footnote, it says Pamias, and then it's going to go down. That's the Yarden, all going down all the way to Yamamela. Yeah? You have the picture?
No. I don't know why.
That's weird. Here, Richard. Pamias.
Oh, look at that.
And it's going down to Yamamela. Look. There's the Jordan, Yarden. Pamias, going all the way down to Yamamela. Okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Nachal HaChermon. It's at the bottom of Har HaChermon. Okay? That's why it's coming out of a cave. Yeah, fine. So now he comes and he says like this. So he says, right? The Jordan River comes out from the Me'arat Pamias, and it goes to the west, right? In the Yam. Reuven, Moshe. Then it's said, right? So he comes and he says, this is talking about now Derech Yama. Uvyama shel Tveria. Yam Kineret. Umidgalgel v'yored layam agadol. And it goes down to the Yam Agadol. The Yam Agadol was what I showed you, Richard, right? They're going, yeah. It's going to go all the way down to the Yam Agadol is actually the Yam HaTichon on the west side, the Mediterranean, right? Not the Yam HaMelach. Okay.
Well, they say they're talking about Syria. They meant.
Yes, because there's going to the west now.
Yeah.
One more time. The other one was going south, right? That's why it was going up to down. It was up there in the Pamius, going down to the Kinneret, going down to the Jordan, right? Now this one is going to the west, right? To the west of Tveria. So therefore, that's why it's saying it was going to the Mediterranean. It goes all the way to the mouth of the Leviathan. Right? He's botech batzmo. Okay, that it could go. Okay, that he could come and take all the water. So matkifla Rabbi Barula comes and he asks the following question: Hi, bebeemot barei aleph ketiv. It's written bebeemot barei aleph. Right? It's nothing to do with the Leviathan. It has to do with the beemot. What's the Leviathan now? So Ela Amar Rabbi Barula says Rabbi Barula, Ematai beemot barei aleph betuchot. When are they going to be certain they're not going to die? It's man shemegiach yardem befil Leviathan. As long as the Leviathan is drinking from the waters of the Yarden, right? That means as long as he's alive, these behemoth are also going to be alive. Meaning that they know that they're going to be alive as long as the Leviathan is alive. The Leviathan's alive, these behemoth are going to be alive. If not, they're not. Okay? Fine. Now there's going to be another siman. Okay? Of Yamin, Gavriel, and Raev. Here it says like this. Kiata Rav Dimi. when Avdimi came and he said in the name of Yochanan, what does it mean in Pasuk? Ki al yamim yesadah. We're talking about the yamim, right? Which is the rivers, not days. Remember, yamim is days. A yamim, right, are rivers. So, right, the seas. So he says here, what does it mean now? Ki hu al yamim yesadah ve'al narot yochrenea. So says the Gemara, right, as follows. He says, right, Shiv'a Yamim Tarba'a Ne'arot Shemekifim Eretz Yisrael. There's going to be 7 seas and 4 rivers that they go around Eretz Yisrael. Ve'elu en Shiv'a Yamim. These are 7 seas. Yamash Shel Tveria, the Yam of Tveria, which we call the Kinneret. Yamash Shel Sedom, which is the Yam HaMelach. Yamash Shel Chelat. Right, this is Yam Suf. Right, he comes and he says, right, which is called, okay, Elat instead of Chelat. Okay, fine. Yamash Shel Chilta. Yeah, he comes and he says over here.
It says Gulf of Aqaba.
Of Aqaba? Okay. Shel Chilta, it says here, La'agam Fiala.
Yeah, okay.
Bachar El Allah. Okay.
There's a there's a secular 7 seas. I don't think there's different 7 seas. The secular 7 seas is the Pacific, the Atlantic.
No. You're talking about the oceans. We're not talking about the oceans. We're talking about Eretz Yisrael. We're talking about in Israel, right? Then we have Yamash Shel Sivche, that it doesn't tell us what it is. Yamas Spamia. Le'ir Afamia Besuria. Spamia רחוקה מארץ למהלך שנה.
Yeshama gives a different name.
Yeah.
It
could be it's El Bahra.
בחר בערבית זה ים. בחר זה ים.
Yamamuni. And it could be it's Yamamuni in the Lebanon.
Lebanon or Syria?
Here it says Lebanon. Yamamuni in Lebanon. The Yama Gadol, the Mediterranean Sea. Right? Ve'elu en arba ne'arot. These are the 4 rivers. Yarden, Yarmuch. Nahar Yarmuch. It comes on the southern part of Ramat HaGolan. Right? Kiromion and Piga. Yeah. And נמצאים beside the Masechet. Okay. Nowadays it's called El Baradi and Fiji. Okay, fine. Okay. Now he says Kiyat Ravdimi. So when Ravdimi came from Eretz Yisrael to Bavel Amar, he said in the name of Yochanan, Atid Gavriel Lasot Kanigriya im Livyatan. He's going to make a tzadat chayot for the Livyatan. Remember this is a pasuk. Timshoch Livyatan bechaka uvchevel tashkia leshono. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu is talking about, right? He's mentioning to Yov the chulsha bnei Adam. Just like he comes and he says that he's not mesugal to come and to trap the Livyatan. So in the future, they're going to trap it. Right? So he says, Elmaleh HaKadosh Baruch Hu's roh. If it wouldn't be that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to help Gabriel, enu yecholo, he wouldn't be able to trap the Livyatan. Shneimar says the pasuk, haoso, right? Which yagesh charbo, right? The one that's making it, meaning me, the one that created it, is the one that's going to be able to come and to kill it. Because if not, then he wouldn't be able to. And then again, we continue. There's Hashem tomorrow.